Okay, now on to the Blender Learning Series. Last time in the Blender Learning Series we had broken down the prison tower model, the actual tower part of the model, into its UV layout. And today what we're going to look to do is to arrange that UV layout in such a way that we can then texture it in a way that makes sense. Here's hoping what I just said makes sense. Alright, let's dive into Blender. Switch over to that view here. There we go. And wrong window. Right window. Okay. So with this, we're going to be using the sync feature a lot, so let's go ahead and turn that on. And also screencast keys. Now we need to know what part we're working with, so let's start with this one. Take out the biggest first. So that's the side there. And then probably want to get the other side as well. Which would be this side. And we need to zoom in to get all of these vertices selected. So now we've got those selected, we can turn sync off, and it leaves us with the ones we actually want. So we select those and then select everything. And we want to move these up into the grid, and then select this one. Could be the other one, I'm just using this one because I can. And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees, so that's going to be R and 90. And what we're going to do is flip it to where it lines up exactly with this other one. So we get it somewhat lined up, and now it's just Control M, and we want to flip it on the Y-axis. So, oh, wrong one, the X-axis. And that lines the two little cutouts here together. So now we can just slide it on over. And it's not going to be a perfect 100% match, but it's going to be close enough, and that's all we're looking for. Because once we get this, we can then go and scale all these on the edges. So we're just going to select two vertices, then hit the S key and the 0 key, and that scales them down to where it's just one point. Making sure we don't get two of them selected like I did there. We want just one set. So we just keep this going. We want the outside to match, but not the inside, because we want the textures along the outer edge of everything to match up. But we don't, there being slight differences on the inside will give it a nice effect. And that's going to be what we want. So we're just going to keep going. I know the two door halves aren't exactly needing to be equal, but might as well. It's not going to hurt anything. And in fact, we might like what we get this way better than we would any other way. So now we're just going to keep going, scaling these down. Select with the B and the left mouse button, and then hit the S key and 0, and then enter. That locks the scale in to a factor of 0. And basically, the program is multiplying whatever the distance is between them by 0. And as we know from math, anything gets multiplied by 0 is 0. So that takes it down to there not being any distance between them. And for our purposes, that is what we want. If it's a model I'm trying to get everything symmetrical on, I would spend the time to go through and get these done. But we just need the outer edge. Did I miss this one? I did. Got to be careful. Make sure you're following everything up. Alright, so that is that main body of the tower. So let's get it into a place where it can fit. Rotate it just a bit. Try to get everything where there's as little space between it and the edges as possible. Okay, next up, we need to turn sync back on, and let's see, let's get this bottom because it can be a small portion. Make sure we've got the right selection method chosen. Now we see which ones we need over here. We can turn sync back off, select them, and then select everything over in the 3D window. Now we can move these up, and these aren't going to be seen, so we can just pull them all together, layer them on top of each other, and we're going to scale this down to where it's just a speck. And let's use this gap over here for it. Next up, turn sync back on. Next up, let's do the we'll do the roof, or the top section here, and that's to be expected. So we can just pull that up, don't have to worry about it. And now let's get these. Got too many there. So make sure we only get the ones we want. Don't want to grab the ones that we don't want. So we see which ones these are. Just lift those up. And now if we flip this one on the Y, lock it in with enter, and then flip it once again on the X, lock it in with enter, and then just drag it down on the Y. The two will pretty much line up. And if we zoom in, we can get it a bit better of a lineup. There we go. I'm gonna call that good. Can't get everything 100% perfect. It's just the nature of things. Let's scale this up a little bit, and we'll put it over here. Go into vertice mode. Select everything. Okay, thought I had sync mode off there. Okay, so we're going to move this over here and pin it. The next item that we need to deal with, let's do these. This ring, the face select mode, and this will get all of these, and we see which ones are over here. Now these are going to be a bit more interesting. So we've got turn sync off and select them, and then reselect everything over here. These are going to require a bit of work because we kind of need them to match up with their sides. So these two, once I get them lined up, like so, we're going to pull them down, and these go on this one. So what we need to do is scale it up about like that. Go ahead and lift it up. And now we're going to do something that not a lot of people are willing to do when it comes to this kind of thing, but we're going to self-correct. So we're going to flatten these selected vertices on the Y. So it's going to be S, Y, and 0. And then we're going to grab the other ones, the bottom ones here, and we're going to flatten those out as well. So S, Y, and 0. Now we want to move these down a little bit on the Y. And the next thing we're going to do is flatten each of these on the X. So select 2 vertical vertices and SX 0. Select 2 more, the S key, the X key, and the 0 key. And again. And now we can kind of move these to where they line up with the ones here. So this one goes over. Let's be about right there. This one looks okay. This one is not this one, it's this face right here, which over here on the model would be this one right here. So we're not worrying about pulling this all the way over. We just want them lined up. So when we go to apply a texture map, we don't have to worry about things not lining up the way we envision it, and then having the wonderful headache of making it work. Let's just pull that over. grab this one and slide it over a little bit as well. There. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's do the other one. This one here. Again, line them up, flip them on the Y, line them up again, and pull them down over. Go ahead and scale them up a little bit. And like we did before, grab one set, flatten them on the Y, and this time we'll go ahead and lift it up to where it kind of matches the other one, using the B box select to ensure that the tops kind of match position wise, and then the same on the bottom, and again lift it up a little bit and test it with the box select little grid line there. Alright, now let's flatten them on the X to get things kind of lined up. Pull these two over to where they match up with below. Let's flatten this one as well and slide it over a bit. And this one we do the same. And then this one. And slide it over just a bit. Kind of work with them to get them sort of where they look right. And then we have these. These are going to be the sections here, which will be here, 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 and here, the flat parts. These two are going to be one set, and the others are going to be the other. The way we can tell which is which, one is a connected two-piece, one is a broken up. These are connected compared to this set over here, which is just 4 blocks. So that tells us what we need to know as far as where these go. So we will mirror this one on the Y and slide it down. And let's go ahead and flatten everything. So we're going to scale it down to 0, 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 scale it to 0, and scale it to 0 again. And let's just flatten these out on the Y. And then on the X. And let's get this set moved in. And we will scale it up a little bit on the on all dimensions, and then a little bit more on the Y. And push it up on the Y just a little bit. And now we're going to select everything we've gotten done, pin it, switch to the other camera, and that's going to be it for this Blender Learning Series session. Hope you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video you just watched. If you did, right here, let's move my head over. There we go. Right here is going to be another video in the future for the next in this particular series. And over here is going to be the previous video in this series, along with a subscribe button down below it. So feel free to give that a hit, and be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. And let's see. Oh yeah, be sure to leave a comment. I'd appreciate knowing what your thoughts are. Until the next one, everyone.